Today's topic for our Free Training Friday is influencer marketing. So this is something that we were thinking about as a team here, and we thought it would be a great way for wineries to expand their reach and maybe reach some younger customers that they wouldn't necessarily be reaching otherwise. So we'll hop into the next slide here, Brittany, and we'll get into our agenda for today. So we'll be talking about influencer marketing. And the value, the why behind why you should be interested in this, exactly where we think the value will come from. We'll talk about social media channels that you can use for influencer marketing and content creation, some examples of things that we think are valuable and how you could potentially communicate with your audience in this way. Next, we'll talk about how you can use Commerce7 tools to execute on this and report on the sales that you'll be generating from this channel. And then lastly, we'll talk about some tips on how you could connect with content creators and find content creators or influencers who would be great brand advocates for you. So what is influencer marketing? So I'm sure a lot of you have heard this terminology before. It's definitely a newer terminology in marketing in general, but it is a direct connection to your target market. So basically it's working with individuals who have a following on social media. It can vary quite significantly, but they can be people with 1,000 followers or a few 100,000 followers. But basically these people have created and established a personal relationship with the people who are in their audience. So whenever they recommend products or whenever they're speaking about something, the people who follow them generally have this personalized connection to exactly what they're selling or what they're recommending. So it's a very easy way to have a trusted audience purchase from these influencers and content creators. So you have someone who's a trusted and admired advocate for your brand, speaking positively about what you have to offer. There are also usually direct links to purchase through social channels. So a lot of these influencers or content creators will have a website in their bio on any of the social media apps that they use, and they'll have links to purchase, which you can track your sales through. So that's what we'll be talking about later with our specific tools. But basically, this is an opportunity for you to capture untapped audiences. So from our data, we know that the average club member is middle-aged in most scenarios. And there's an untapped market in Gen Z and younger generations who are of legal drinking age. So I think that it's a great opportunity for wineries to explore this as a potential marketing avenue to expand your reach in different ways that you may not have thought of otherwise. And I'll pass this off to Brittany, who's going to talk a little bit about the history here behind influencer marketing.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you so much, Margaret. So first of all, we're using the word influencer, and it seems like a very current term, which it is, but really there have always been influencers in the wine space. In the 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, it was the wine critics who were the influencers back in the day. Now, they didn't have an internet yet, so there weren't any blogs or vlogs or anything like that. These were all written print reviews in newspapers or wine periodicals. They were stereotypically pretty opaque and dense writing, very flowery language. The critics were generally older men, not all, of course, but generally. And because of all these things, there's kind of a gatekeeping effect happening where these reviews were geared more toward those who already know about wine, who understand the dense language that was being used, and definitely not geared toward younger people or those who are new to wine or just learning. So then the mid-2000s hits, and then this guy happened. And I'm going to let this sit here for a moment while you all take him in. Now, a lot of you likely know who this is. If you've been in the wine industry for a while, you definitely know who this guy is. And I love this still. I took this because from one of his early videos, because it just kind of says it all about this person. So let's figure out who this guy is. So this is Gary V. Or as he would say at the beginning of every one of his videos, I am Gary Vaynerchuk. And then he would launch in to a very impassioned, 30 minutes to an hour these reviews. And so in 1998, Gary Vee took over his dad's liquor store in New Jersey. It was called Shoppers Discount Liquors. And he realized that when he started going into the business, that it was the wine that was really bringing in the customers that would spend more money, and there was a better profit margin with wine. So they pivoted, or he pivoted the company to be called the Wine Library instead of Shoppers Discount Liquors. He also realized in 2006, and this is fledgling YouTube time, that there's this thing YouTube where he could potentially promote his online sales. Another thing that was fairly new to the wine industry. So here he was, he changed the liquor store to the Wine Library. He started online sales, and then he saw this YouTube thing, and he's like, wait, that's kind of cool. Maybe I can drive some sales that way. Well, he certainly did. He took the business from a $3 million business to a $60 million business. And the thing about Gary Vee is that he was the complete opposite of all of the critics who had come kind of before this time. He wasn't this, old flowery, doing these reviews that were very dense or anything. No, he was young, brash, super abrasive, very East Coast, no stranger to profanity. Every other word was F-bombs on these videos. But here was the thing. He really knew his wine. If he didn't know his wine, the wine world would have just, he would have been nothing to the wine world. But he really knew his wine. And because of that, he was quite a polarizing figure when he came out in 2006. I was in the wine industry about 2 years in at this point, and I can tell you he was something like we'd never seen. And because of that, we were just mesmerized by him, whether you loved him or hated him. And usually you either loved him or hated him. He was definitely something that people were listening to and looking at. He peeled away that wine snob veneer. So relatable, just a super relatable dude. And he was something. Now, does he still have Wine Library TV on YouTube? No, he does not. Although I would highly recommend, if you've never seen it, to go, it still exists, that channel, and you can go take a look at some of those videos. They're fantastic. But no, these days he is a digital media mogul. He has an empire, bazillionaire. He still does incredible video content, and I'd highly recommend you go and take a look, because he's still this great personality that, again, you either love or hate a lot of times, but he always entertaining. So I bring him up because he was arguably the original online wine influencer who paved the way for all the wine influencers that we'll be learning about today, and certainly all the ones that are out there in the world that you could possibly partner with. All right, Robert, let's hear about some data supporting this.
Awesome, Brittany. Thank you so much, and happy Friday, everybody. So I won't go over too many facts, but just kind of the big numbers. Definitely the influencer marketing industry is huge. It reached $16 billion plus last year, and it's going to continue to grow. And just with the way that things are trending online, we're going to see a greater emphasis on creators that are across multiple platforms, taking advantage of YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all of these things contributing to also live shopping, where you're actually able to include links while you're shopping live with customers online. Other big trends that we're seeing are micro and nano influencers. Those people with smaller followings, maybe under 10,000 followers, under 5,000 followers, they will actually still play a huge part in this. They tend to have better conversion rates. And seeing their engagement, we'll still see those people getting lots of love. And then you can even look here just in terms of an average price per post. If you have somebody with, say, 1 to 10,000 followers, they might only charge a few $100s at most. Well, a mega influencer with over millions of followers might charge, over $10,000. So there's definitely a big range depending on how broad of a reach you're looking to have with your campaigns that you're running. But again, there's almost like an influencer for any business size, which is kind of a nice thing too with the online presence. And then just kind of going over that they'll still continue to develop niches. So when we talk about food, travel, we talk about the wine industry, there's definitely influencers who just know their niche and they'll continue to advertise in that vertical specifically. And then again, lastly, just being authentic. I think where we're at in the world, people kind of see through any sort of veneer. We all know when we're online that typically if we're following an influencer, we're being sold something, but you want to still feel that connection and they know that they need to resonate with their audience. So those are the big trends, Britt. And I think, these are just kind of the big channels right now. I mean, there's of course always going to be other areas, but TikTok, we all know about TikTok now. It's huge. It's continuing to grow. It's the fastest growing channel for influencer marketing in 2023. So I think big things are going to continue to happen on TikTok, and just learning how to tap into that will be really beneficial. Instagram definitely still has a huge presence. So 79% of marketers consider it integral to their campaigns, right? Instagram is huge, and the way that they have live shopping and the way that they're able to include URLs directly in posts, I mean, it just makes it so important. YouTube. So with the growth of TikTok, we all know about like very short videos now. We're kind of, all guilty maybe of scrolling and watching a lot of those short videos, but long form content will still play a huge role. People love watching travel videos, vlogs, right? Those things are still very important in terms of marketing to these consumers. So YouTube, and then lastly, traditional blogging. It's actually still quite important. People do enjoy, again, that long form content. So all of these different areas, plus, I mean, of course, the Facebooks, the Amazons, but everything is valuable in that multi-channel approach. I think we're going to see more and more of that. So those are the big trends kind of just in socials in general.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Robert. And I'll take you guys through just a couple examples of applications that I want to go over today. So these are not necessarily people like Gary Vee. They are influencers who might have different types of followings. So we'll see some examples in the wine industry. We'll see an example of a workout video that might be applicable to maybe a wine club journey from sign up to their whole experience as a wine club member. So I'll talk about that when we get to that example, but we'll hop into our first TikTok example here, and I'll kind of talk through where the value add comes from so you can see what I mean. So this example here is actually someone who's visiting the Napa Valley Winery, Duckhorn Winery. So she's visiting, this is her experience. It's a very short video, 48 seconds, where she talks about her time visiting this winery. Or do you want to just play a little bit here? Yeah, awesome, thank you. So actually, I can't hear it right now. I think because you're muted. Maybe unmute.
I am so sorry. Here, let's go back to the video.
I'm guessing that's why.
The classic Napa Valley Winery is now on my must-do list of winery staples to visit. From the gorgeous grapevine and tree-lined entrance to the homey vibes inside, Duckhorn was just so perfectly charming and the perfect place to take my parents when they were here visiting. After enjoying some of their sparkling wine, we did a tasting outside on the wraparound veranda and took in the views of the surrounding vineyards here in St. Helena. Our wine flight consisted of 4 of their harder-to-find single vineyard reds, 2 Merlots and 2 Cabernets. And while Duckhorn is known for their iconic Merlot from Three Palms Vineyard, they make a wide array of wines and have several other brands in their portfolio you can sample from as well. Order the cheese and charcuterie board because these wines are so pairable, and then take your glass outside to stroll around the beautiful property. Absolute wine country perfection, and I cannot.
Okay, so obviously this is a great example to display exactly what your property has to offer. So if you have a beautiful location that you want to display, maybe this is the type of content that you would want to work with a content creator on, just to get the word out that you have a beautiful property and that you offer a wonderful tasting experience. So these videos can be posted on your own social media channels, but when you have an influencer or content creator who's advocating for this experience, they're going to reach a whole new audience that you would not otherwise be reaching in your own marketing channels. So that's one example, and then we'll go into the second example here. So this is less talking and more visual. So just before we watch here, it's a very quick video. It's 11 seconds, so very short form content. They describe the flavor profile of this particular wine. So if you love pineapple, pear, and chamomile, this wine is for you. So when you're watching her pour this wine, that's exactly what you're thinking of. You're dreaming of what that would taste like. You're visualizing what that bottle would look like in your own home. And it really puts kind of the picture together of what you could expect to experience with this particular brand. So we'll watch this one next.
Eu não acredito em mim, que alguém perguntando por ela chegou, deixando meu coração tristonho.
Awesome. And again, if this is being posted by someone who you admire, who you have been following for a while, who you feel you have a relationship with because they're sharing such intimate and authentic details with you, maybe it's something that you're going to be more inclined to purchase because you really resonate with that specific individual. So that's just a perfect example of a very subtle way to work with a brand as well. Perhaps sending a free bottle for one TikTok video and seeing how that goes with one of our URLs that we'll talk about in just a moment. Could be just kind of a dipping your toe in the water to see how things go. And then next we'll go into a couple Instagram examples. So this is actually not specific to the wine industry, but this person has a few 100,000 followers actually, and she's actually posting about a picnic idea, and with Comfort and Company is the picnic company. So basically you can see that she's holding a glass of wine in her hands and she's having fun with her friends, sharing this experience. If a winery were to be the one to sponsor this or to send a bottle of wine or two to these friends, and then they could talk about that in their post as well. That could be another angle you could take versus the short form video content on TikTok. You could go with just a traditional Instagram post through a reel of photos. So this is another angle you can take. There's so much variety in how you can use influencer and content marketing, but basically the concept is the same across all channels, is that you're trusting someone who resonates with your brand to advocate in their particular unique and personalized audience. We'll go on to the next Instagram example here. So this is the workout video that I was talking about. So this girl is basically just talking, actually, but we don't need to play the sound on this one. I'll just talk through it. So she's talking through a membership with Alum Move. So it's basically, she's advocating for this yoga studio. And she's showing on her phone how she's signing up for this particular membership. So this is the example that I was thinking could also be applicable to a club member example. So you could have someone create a video of receiving maybe an SMS text using the Redsharp app, if that's what you're using for your wine club marketing, or even a transactional email showing, oh, I have 2 days left to edit my shipment, and then going on to Commerce7, editing their shipment so that your customers could, or potential new club members could see exactly what that would be like for them if they were to sign up for this club. They could also record receiving the shipment and then maybe enjoying the shipment with their friends. So you can pretty much dictate what you would want the creator to be creating if you're also visualizing what you want this to look like. But I think it's a great example to show start to finish process, from signing up someone as a club member, what it looks like to edit your shipments and customize the frequency, the bottles that you're receiving, and then also explain that to their followers so that they can understand what it would be like to be part of this wine club. So if you are interested in something like that, this is another great example of how to accomplish this. And then the last example here is a YouTube example. So this is a longer form content video, as Robert was talking about. So this is someone who traditionally creates like lifestyle content. So she's usually making like makeup videos or travel videos. It's very a wide range of her lifestyle content, but she went and visited the Napa Valley. Actually, I think, Britt, it was the video before this one, if you want to click the back button. So she went to Napa and Sonoma. So she did like a 6-day combination of all of these experiences, and obviously partnered with the winery she visited to talk about the tasting experiences and just exactly what her time was like in this region. So it's a great video and a great way to get exposure to people who do watch the longer form videos. But these are just a few examples. There's, like I said, an endless amount of creativity that can go on with content creators. And you can be part of that as well with your marketing department if you guys have ideas of what you would want to see displayed. But that's something that you can work directly with the influencer on, and creating that content in a more authentic way with their audience. So I'll pass it off to Brittany now, who's going to talk about how to do this in Commerce7 and how to create the links and the reporting surrounding working with influencers.
Okay, so first of all, before I get into these next few slides, do know that we did create a full article all about influencing or influencers and how to work with tools in Commerce7. So don't think that you need to be, frantically writing down these complex URLs, etc. It's all explained. If you go to the knowledge base and just look up influencer, you'll see videos and stuff that will show you how to do this stuff. So yes, we have some tools that you can use today in Commerce7 to help you with your influencer partners and reporting on your influencer partners. So a couple of things we're going to be talking about. First of all, are shareable embedded links. So you can create both product and coupon links for influencers to share with their followers. And so when their followers click on those, it will take people wherever you want them to go. Also, we're going to be talking about reporting on influencer sales by using metadata. So first thing I want to talk about are the shareable embedded links. So the very first thing you want to think about when you are going to be doing this is, where do you want the customer to land ultimately when they click on that link? Do you want them to just go to your store? Do you want them to go to the cart, directly to the cart, and be able to edit their quantity? And in that cart will be the specific URL that you want to direct them to. Or do you want to lead them, bypass the cart completely, lead them all the way to checkout, where again, that specific product with a specific quantity has been chosen for them because of this link, and all they have to do is, you know, a couple of clicks and they've ordered. So a couple of things to think about there, and we'll look at how to do both of those. So first, let's lead the customer directly to the cart. So what's this option going to do? It's going to take the customer to the cart with the SKU that you've defined, and then the customer will be able to, you know, choose their quantity and move on with their purchase. Don't be scared of these links. I know that, you know, long URLs, they make me kind of glaze over as well, but I do want to talk a little bit about the structure of them so that you at least understand what it is that they're doing. So this particular one, basically you have your store URL, and then what you want to do, we're going to be tacking on these specific URL strings that will tell the browser to do certain things. So in this case, we want this particular SKU and go straight to the cart. So to do that, you would have the add to cart equals, and then whatever the SKU is that you've defined. So one thing to note about these particular URLs, that they're very specific in that if this is, you know, even when it comes to the case, they're case sensitive. So if this was a lowercase t here, the link wouldn't work. So you want to make sure that you definitely reference the articles that have to do with these so that you're getting these specific ones. Otherwise, you'll get real frustrated. So let's look at a real world SKU down here, or I'm sorry, a real world link down here. So you take, again, here's my store link, my Brittany demo, blah, 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 commerce7.com. That's my store link / and then we have that add to cart equals BB750. That happens to be my Chardonnay. So let's see what that looks like on the front end. Unfortunately, I can't click straight on these because it's adding a bunch of stuff. So I'm going to grab this particular link from a note. All right. And you see what happened. I didn't have to put that Chardonnay in my cart. It automatically did it for me. So here it is. Here's the Chard that I'm wanting to push. And here I can obviously choose the quantity and move on with my purchase. So that is the first one. Let me go back over to my slide. Okay, let's go on to option number 2. So this will still take them directly to the cart. It's going to do exactly what we just did, except we are going to recommend a default quantity of 6. So it's the add to cart SKU goes here, and then quantity of 6 down here. You see it. Add to cart is my BB750, and then my quantity equals 6. Let's see what that one does. And there we go. We have the Chardonnay again, but it has now defaulted to 6 because I want to recommend that that's the quantity that this person is going to get. Now, obviously, they can choose a different quantity if they would like, but at least that 6 is there as a suggestion. And moving on. So this one, option 3, this will lead the customer directly to the checkout page. It's going to bypass the cart where it's just going to, you'll see it flash right by, and then it lands in the checkout. So then all they have to do is, a couple clicks and they're done. So in this case, we have that add to cart, SKU goes here, quantity of 6, and then this little bit checkout equals true. So that's going to take me directly to the checkout. So let's look at that one. And voila, you saw it. It takes me right here, and we see the Chardonnay there with a quantity of 6. And then at that point, all I have to do is place that order, and then it's done. So again, lots of options here, lots of options. Okay, let's talk about the shareable link that automatically adds a coupon code to the cart. So you're creating a coupon code for this particular influencer's followers. Now they can certainly, input that code, that's fine. But if they click on this link, it's going to automatically add that coupon code to the cart. Easy for me to say, so that they don't have to enter it, which is super cool. So the anatomy of this particular URL is coupon code equals, and then it's whatever the coupon code is that you've created. In my case, it's coupon code equals Susie TikTok. So let's go back and see what that one looks like. Okay. So in this particular one, because I wanted to show different scenarios, in this particular one, I did not define a specific SKU. You can, if you want, you could add that on there. But in this case, I didn't, because I just wanted to show different ways of setting these up. So, but let's see what happens. When we go to shop, any items that I put in my cart that are eligible for that coupon, for instance, my Chardonnay, let's go ahead and add that. You'll see down here the title of my coupon, which is Influencer Susie. It is automatically applying because it was embedded into that URL. Proceed to checkout. Again, we see it there. It's all applying, and then we place our order. Okie dokie. All right. Stick with me here. I know that when we get into like some other stuff, it can get like, it's making my eyes glaze over. But I promise I'm going to try to make this very brief and hopefully give you some information that'll be good to use. So adding metadata to the cart to link and to track those influencer sales, because these sales are coming in, right? You're giving them these special links and everything, but how are you supposed to know that these sales came in through this influencer? Well, that's where metadata comes in handy. So we have a step 1 and a step 2 here. The step 1 is to create the order metadata code, which we're going to go look at in a second. And then the second step is to come back and add that code that you just created to the cart link, so that then that persists with the order when it comes in. And therefore, you'll be able to see that this particular person is the one that generated this order. So first thing we want to do is head over into Commerce7 and just look at the developer tab. And we're going to go into metadata. If you're new to metadata, it's incredible, it's robust, it's huge, there's endless possibilities. I would highly recommend that you learn about it from our documentation or asking us, and we can certainly give you resources on it. So today I'm gonna show you how to work with it in the context of this. In this case, we want, first of all, the order metadata. And I've already created one here. You would be adding order metadata and coming to this same screen that I'm going to show you now. And we have our title, which in this case, I'm doing influencer. That creates the code. Commerce7 creates the code for you based on the title. And data type, this is very important. The data type, you have a whole list here, but you want the select data type. Select data type. When you choose that, then you get these options down here that then you can fill in. I have 2 influencers I'm working with. I'm working with Susie and I'm working with Tom. If I had more, I could add an option and add somebody else. Note that another way that you can use this is, for instance, social media source. Maybe you call it social media source, and you would have your options be, you know, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. So lots of different ways to use this. But in this case, you know, it's for the influencer. So my code is influencer. So you want to take note of the code. And let's head back over into here. Now we're going to build our link. So what this is going to do is it's going to take the customer directly to the cart with the SKU already pre-populated for them. And it will attribute this campaign or this particular order to this particular influencer. And whoops, let me go back to, yep, I'm in the right spot. So then down here we have our URL. We have the add to cart, SKU goes here. We're familiar with that. And then we have the metadata information that goes in here equals the value. And then down here, you see what it really looks like, which is add to cart equals my BB750 and meta dash influencer. That's the code that I just created equals Susie. So let's see it work. All right, we're going to go into here. Okay, it pre-populated as I asked for in that link. I did not designate a particular quantity in this one, so I'm just going to choose, let's choose 6. And we're going to proceed to checkout. And we're going to place our order. Okay, now when we go and look at that order in Commerce7 store, here's the order I just created. And we'll go to the metadata tab in the order. We will now see that Susie has populated. Now, just so you know, if this was an admin order, this is a dropdown. You could choose Tom, but in this case, it is an online order that came in through Susie's link. So it's going to show there. Pretty cool. All right, on to this last one here, which is adding the metadata to a coupon code link to track influencer sales. So again, you create that order metadata code. We're going to use the same one, that same influencer code. And then step 2, adding that code to the coupon code link. Now, what's this going to do? It's going to provide the customer with the automatic coupon that's, you know, it automatically applies. And it's going to also have that metadata. It's going to pass that metadata about the influencer into the order so that then you can report on it. So in this case, coupon code equals the coupon code. And then we have our metadata value goes here. Down here is the real world example. We have the coupon code equals Susie TikTok. And again, we have our meta influencer is Susie. So let's look at this guy. All right, now again, this one I did not include a specific SKU. So it's just taking me to the shop page to show you a different flow. But when we go to the shop page, let's go ahead and add this mag here. And you'll notice there's my influencer Susie coupon that's auto applying. Go to checkout. Oops. Hello. Oh, there we go. Sorry, my internet was a little bit wacky there for a sec. All right, so down here, we're going to place our order. Complete. Let's go back into Commerce7. We will take a look at this order. So first, excuse me, in promotions, we see that pardon me, that coupon applied. And then metadata, we see that Susie is showing there. How do you report on these guys? Couple of things that you can do. One is if you go to the order tab and you simply export orders, the metadata field does populate in that report. It's actually the very last column. As you scroll all the way to the right, very last column, you will see it. You'll see Susie and Tom, and you can sort on that and sum them up and figure out the sales that way. Something else that is super cool is that you can create a tag, a dynamic tag. So if we go into settings and we go into tags, we choose order for order tags, and then we add our order tag. We'll create a unique one. And then down here, I just want to show you that one of the items is, in fact, metadata influencer. So any metadata that you create, order metadata, it's going to show up here as one of your operators that you can choose. And then what can you do with that? Well, once you have your tagged orders, you can then go into the whole world of queries and do a whole bunch of awesome things. So just know that there are those ways to report on these sales. Okay, I am going to flip it back to Margaret.
Awesome. Thank you so much for going through that demo. It's really awesome to see it in action. And I also wanted to call out something small too. So if you're using a coupon code, you can typically report on those things without using the metadata if you would choose to, but it could be one or the other or of a combination of both. So just keep that in mind when you're playing around with this marketing technique. And then lastly, I just wanted to talk about how you can connect with influencers and how you can find these content creators. So there's a couple different ways that I just want to mention here today. Of course, you can definitely do your own research and find your own ways to do this as well. But there is a website called #paid. So Britt, there's actually a link there embedded in that word if you want to click on that. And this website actually is great. So it helps you connect with creators that can help you reach your audience. So if you scroll down just a little bit here, basically on this page specifically, it walks you through how this happens. So I would definitely check out #paid. This is a great service to connect you with influencers who have a certain number of followers or are particularly interested in a specific deliverable. Maybe they want to be your Test Wine Club member and they don't want to be financially compensated, but they would like to get those shipments for free in exchange for content. So there's so many different options that you can explore here. This is just a great website that you can use to connect with any creators that you'd like to. In addition to, usually a lot of these creators will have like a link in their bio or an email address to connect with them for different experiences that you would like to work with them on. So this is a cool website to check out if you want it to be kind of more of a dashboard view, but you can always reach out to people individually. And then if we want to go back to the slide here, I was also just going to mention there are definitely marketing agencies that specialize in influencer marketing as well. So you can work with them directly to connect you with particular influencers. Or like I said, you can reach out to them directly and just make sure you have a contract in place on deliverables for both sides, because obviously this is a transaction between two parties. So it's a lot less daunting than it may seem, and it's definitely a huge revenue generator for a lot of businesses. We see this across every industry almost at this point, and it's definitely something that the wine industry hasn't taken full advantage of at this point. So we really wanted to have this conversation just to start to see what you guys feel about this, and also to help you visualize what could be possible for your social media marketing. Yeah, so I'm going to go to the next slide here. We're also very happy to chat with you guys more about this. If you want to set up a meeting to talk more about how you can particularly apply this within your winery or your organization, you can fill out this form and I'll reach out and we can set up a meeting for next week sometime to talk more. As always, you can do this through support as well. Just ask for a Zoom call and we'll be happy to set it up for you. But this is just an easier way for you guys to kind of start that process if you'd like to right now. But in general, please contact us if you have any questions at all. We're more than happy to chat with you about this. We really want to see you successful and creating better customer shopping experiences. So this is one way that you can definitely do that. So that's the end of our presentation on influencer marketing for today, although we will have a blog post coming out next week, and we'll be sending out lots more information in our newsletter next week on this. But if you do have any questions about this or about any other product questions, we're definitely happy to open up the floor to whatever you guys would like to know about Commerce7 or about influencer marketing. Awesome. And the first question we had today was, are these URL links available in both version 1 and version 2 of the front end? So yes, these are definitely URL parameters that are accessible in both versions. So you can take full advantage of this regardless of which front end version you're using on Commerce7. But there are no other questions at the moment. So I'll wait a few minutes just to see if anything comes in. But otherwise, Brittany, do you want to tell everybody what our next Free Training Friday topic is on?
I do believe. Is it on
I can find it here too.
I think it's on the Apple Tap to Pay.
Or email, Brittany? No, maybe.
Oh, is it email
Let's
template?
see.
It's on the
The theme builder.
Yep.
Yep.
Theme builder.
Theme builder is on the 10th, and then on the 24th, we're going to be talking about mobile payments and Apple Tap to Pay.
Yep.
Awesome. Sorry, I just checked that right now as well.
No, thank you.
Love that theme builder.
So the next question here, so do we copy the links or how do we get started? So basically what you'll want to do is kind of input your specific domain and your particular coupon code or your particular SKUs into those URLs. And basically once you plug those in, you can just copy and paste those and send those out to whoever you're working with to use that to purchase. Sorry, Brittany, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say that a great resource. Let me hop over into support and I'll leave my page. Let's go to support, going to the knowledge base. And if you just type in, whoops, if I could spell correctly, start even spelling influencers. We have a complete article on this with videos. So this will, like, for instance, creating that shareable cart or checkout link. It's down here. There is a video, and then it talks all about it here with the examples. So hopefully that'll help. Certainly, if you have any questions, reach out to us in support. And but this is a great resource to get started.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you just want to make sure your own personal content's in there and just walk yourself through that article. But we're happy, like I said, to help you out whenever you need that. Next question here. So can you use the coupon usage report to track influencer sales? So if you're using a particular coupon for an influencer, absolutely. So that coupon code will be unique to that particular influencer. But if you do have a more generic coupon code that you're using with multiple influencers, you're going to want to make sure that you have that metadata tag on the end of the URL so that you can attribute it to any particular influencer so that you can know exactly where the sales are coming from. So you can continue to work with the influencers who are bringing you in the most revenue. But certainly if you have particular coupons for each individual influencer, you can definitely report on that. Awesome. There's no other questions at the moment. Awesome, but I think that's everything for today. So thank you all so much for joining. I know this is an interesting topic, so we're really happy to see the turnout. And if you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to chat more.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Bye.